It's your series on the world fairs. Who do we have today? Yes, this one. Chicago, World's Columbia Expo, 1893. All right, so let's talk about this. This one celebrated the 400th anniversary of Christopher Columbus's arrival in America in 1492. But crap, when I say I investigate, guys, I mean I investigate. So even though this Chicago World Fair wanted to celebrate Christopher Columbus, I can't go through the World Fair till I give you your actual history, because I don't know other than to say Christopher Columbus is just a distraction from a lot of other things, like Leif Erikson. This guy. So Christopher Columbus was just the guy that they wanted to put on statues, you know, because they're like, oh, he discovered it and blah, blah. No! This is Leif Erikson. And Leif Erikson, ready for it? Well, he's commemorated on a bunch of statues, Minnesota, California, Chicago. But what does that matter? Well, because he was like the first person noted to actually see the old Americas. A lot of people did it before Columbus, but Leif Erikson was actually first that we know. Here's a couple more. Yep. Oh, good old AI. Back to the point, Leif Erikson was a Norse explorer from Iceland, believed to have lived around the late 10th century to early. Well, he is often credited as one of the first Europeans to set foot in North America. What? His voyages are significant as they represent one of the earliest known European explorations of the North American continent, predating Columbus by nearly 500 years. There's the first lie. Just kidding. Now we gotta explain the other lie. I'm telling you, I'm never gonna get to the World's Fair to explain it to you because I gotta tell you the truth beforehand. Here's a census report. All right, so just so we're clear, why does it matter who discovered us and what they were doing and what they were exploring? Well, because Mr. Henry Hudson, yes, who the Hudson River is named after, he actually was paid by the West and East India Trading Company to come explore and then to come have villagers settle here. Villagers? Just kidding. Conquerors. Because there's actually a contract. But Cassie, the United States is not owned by a corporation. It sure is. How do you think it started? The United States was formed as a corporation well before all the rest happened. They actually came and met with the Native Americans multiple times, outside of the British and the French. Do you know what really started the wars? Well, I'll tell you. So, you can read that. Hold on. Pause. Oh, yes. Also, when you see the words in this text called New Netherland, just so you know, that is what the company actually called us before they switched the name. And don't say, well, they switched the name because we fought the British and then the Constitution happened in 1776 and July 4th and all that cool stuff, except that's also a lie. So the West and East India Trading Company that really started the country, here we go. All right. 2 contracts were signed. Hold on, wait for it. This contract, pause and read. You're going to love that one. That is the contract, and it was signed with witnesses with Henry Hudson, Dirk Van Oz, J. Pape, and Jodocus Hondius on behalf of the West and East India Trading Company. And of course, they tried to branch off to 2 different companies. It's all the same family, don't worry. All right, so what does that mean? Well, that company, that, you know, our real owners from way back in the day, they treated us like a business. So, before the actual settlements took place, hold on, you can read that. They went around with the Native Americans and said, all right, show me all your good stuff. And it worked out well. They traded fur, they traded everything else. And so the company, with those contracts with the Native Americans and the local settlers that had already started immigrating over because of this situation and this deal, they signed treaties. Problem was, they kind of screwed everyone on the deal. That's what really started the war, because they made all these rules for the Native Americans and for the local settlers that said, okay, we'll let you keep your lands and we'll let you survive, but you now work for us, and you're going to go up and down the coast, and you're going to go hunt and then sell the animal's fur for us on behalf of us. We'll give you a little bit of a cut, but that's about it. It's all in this book. I'm going to share a lot more of this, right? So they ended up screwing them because they said, hey, you also can't start your own businesses that aren't tied to this. And they made them, get this, they made them require permission for anyone regarding business or ownership in what we now call, the United States, but they called it New Netherland. They had to ask the Lord States General for permission and for licensing. And that company also put a lot of men in charge all over New Netherland. And then those people and their family's lineage, later down the line, when the 1776, July 4th, all that situation took place, and we thought, oh, we have a constitution now, and ooh, we broke away from the British. No, those people had already been in the government when it was established. Why? Because the West and East India Trading Company made sure. Except when they cover things up and they switch names and everything else along the way, and it's too hard to follow it, people are like, no, we're not, no, because we broke away and we had our own thing. Nope. That's the illusion. See, that's the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain. In theory, of course. This is all theory. TikTok, I'm not a professional. This is not factual information. I am simply telling you exactly what these books say that I got from a museum. Of course, none of this is true. It's all in theory. Please do not ban me. I have said nothing that is factual. Anywho, back to the point. You get what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Who are these princes, you ask? Well, the West and East India Trading Company liked fur and spices way back in the day, but then they just migrated and dominated and conquered and owned everything and changed their names multiple times, but then owned really cool things like land and huge buildings that millions of tourists go see every year. I think I've talked about them in previous videos. But again, so now that you understand, Christopher Columbus was not the man they tried to tell you, just like Abe Lincoln. Now I'll have to jump to a part 2 to actually tell you about the first World's Fair in Chicago